So the first poem is very much about depression, and it's about how conquering depression can be very ugly. And sometimes it requires us to sacrifice a part of ourselves. And even when we do this, we might find that later in life, the depression monster rears its head again, and we have to start that battle all over again. So I'll begin. It tears through the house with fury, like a tornado. We all speak gently, coo at it, and it cowers in the corner, feral and abused. We try to give it food and water, but this only makes it angrier. I cut myself and let it drink. Still, it is unsated. No one knows who let it in, and I'm not sure why we let it stay. Maybe we felt bad for it, the way it skulked in the shadows, the way it recoiled from our touch, inconsolable, pathetic. Maybe it was convenient, gave us reasons to stay inside, cancel plans, to say, no, thank you, too busy, so sorry. It gave us chances to hide in separate rooms and do our separate things. It filled the empty space with noise, though sometimes it was much too loud. Whenever it was around, it became hard to tell the difference between truths and lies. And sometimes this felt comforting. We would lie to each other, we would lie to ourselves. But eventually it became scary, confusing. Time began passing without us. Days were suddenly weeks, weeks months, months years. I cut myself again, but it drinks less, hungers for something else more. We've become resentful, all of us, in our own way. We seek to place blame. We ask many questions, but we don't understand the answers. We live in darkness now, but we don't sleep. It keeps us awake, keeps us tired, terrorizes us with nightmares filled with memories we keep confusing with premonitions, and premonitions we keep confusing with dreams. We awake in a sweat one night. We've had enough, we think. We test the waters. We tip the scale each way by wringing out the towel that sopped up our sweat. Enough to fill an ocean, we think. Enough to flood the house and everything in it. And we wonder again after all this time, why we let it stay. And then we start to notice things we haven't noticed in a while, like our own face, foreign and drawn, swollen with secrets and guilt and shame and exhaustion. We notice the transformation of our loneliness, our self-alienation, and our exile. We notice the changes in our brain and our speech. It's as if we become new people, same but new, different, undone. And in the realization that we let the darkness creep up behind us, let it embrace us so gently, let this creature distract us, let it trick us into thinking we were unholy, immaculate, while we pierced ourselves with needles and cut ourselves with X-Acto knives to feed it. Let it smell our sweet coppery blood while it watched us heave in pain over the emptiness we felt after we had taken everything, and still it demanded more. And in this realization, with our eyes open, we start to see things we never saw before, like how the creature looks a lot like us, how it sounds like us, how it says what we say, does what we do, and how when we try to punish it, we seem to only punish ourselves. We see the creature for what it is, its immensity and its nihility. And we understand why we've only been looking at it from the corners of our eyes. So we decide, all of us, to pull ourselves together, to let our wounds heal, to let them scar. And on the night we are strong enough to face the thing that tore us apart, we kill it. Listen to its wounded cries, as it had listened to us for years. Hear it beg for help, hear it suffer. Listen at it as it takes its last deep breaths. And when it's finally dead and finally quiet, we eat its flesh and bury its heart so deep, we hope we never hear it again. And in our bellies always rots the meat of a creature we could not best. So instead we killed and ate and buried. So that's The Visitant. It's one of the longer poems in my book, but I think it's one of the poems that best showcases my interest in turning our mental illnesses and our struggles and strifes into physical, tangible creatures. And